SummerSlam Night One just passed by and it was crazy. A lot of big matches and some crazy returns. Let's jump into it right now. You found yourself right back here on the Collard Greens and Nerdy Things page, your one-stop shop for all things nerdy. I'm your host, King, and this is my partner in crime, JC3. And today we are talking about WWE SummerSlam, the first two-night event ever, and we're going to go through night one. And if you like our content, you can find us here at Collard Greens TV and Collard Greens TV on all our social medias. So go ahead and give us a drop, a follow, comments, let us know what you're thinking. So let's get the party started with match number one out the gate. Roman Reigns and Jey Uso taking on Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed. Jay, kick us off.
Yee. Oh man, I loved this is a great opener of a match. I think this is probably the most exciting match that we had on the PLE. The crowd was hot, everybody was ready to see the OTC Roman Reigns. This is the first time I think that he's opened a match in quite a while. So that was a nice little change of pace. I love how the match started with Roman and Jay knocking Bronson and Reed out the ring. And then, we're able to run it back. We're able to run back, an entrance song during a PLE. That was pretty nice. Also, just shout out to Jey Uso, man. Like a couple years ago, like who would have thought that Jay would get just as big a pop as Roman Reigns? I think that just tells the great storytelling that WWE has done. Just with his character, we've had some bumps in the road. We've had some short championship reigns, but ultimately, I feel like Jay's just in this place now where whether he has a title or not, like he is like the most over guy on the WWE roster right now. So I'm very proud of him. The lots of high spots in the match. Oh my goodness. I thought Roman was about to break his neck on one of them. He definitely overshot when he jumped over the top rope. He cleared Bronson and, Breaker. So man, I'm glad he's okay, but we almost had an accident there. But the rest of the match was awesome. Again, lots of high spots. People going through barricades, spear through barricades, Superman punches, and Roman actually took a spear for Jay, which allowed Jay to get the pin on Bronson Reed with the Uso splash. So I thought it was a great opener of a match, man, and the crowd was definitely hype. I wish that Roman got his shoes back. We haven't got there yet, but we'll see. What you think?
The crowd was clearly having a lot of fun. It was a really like perfect open match. Like the energy, Jay coming out. I thought in my head, yo, Jay's got a far walk from the back to the front. And he even said, like, damn, I'm tired. It was a really fun match. You're right. Roman's got hops, man. He overshot the hell out of that dive he did. And luckily he caught him with his shoulder and like completed the move. But dude, he's got hella hops. And I love this setup between him and Bron Breakker of who's gonna do the spear, set up the spear, set up the spear, and the Superman punches. I mean, he came that Superman punch he did when Breaker was on the top of the ropes and he did that huge jump to hit him off of the ropes. Man, the boys got hops. It was a really fun match, and it's fun to see Roman and Jay kind of tag up, and like you said, they run it back in the middle of the match, and like the whole celebration of it all. And usually Roman does not, jump in the way to save anybody's buns. And he surely did that for Jay when he took that spear like a champ, and then let Jay get the tag or the count. I loved it, man. It was a fun match. I think it was a great way to start it off. And it was a long match. It was like a 20-minute match. So I thought it was dope. Well, let's move on to the next one then. Let's move on to the tag team match next. We had Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez, the women's tag team champions, against Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair. Kick us off with your thoughts, brother.
I thought that this was a good, solid match, especially for the story between Charlotte and Alexa Bliss. I'm glad that little Miss Bliss is getting this spotlight again with her being from Columbus, Ohio. I always got to rep my girl Bliss. Uh, as far as Charlotte Flair goes, I think if WWE is trying to get the crowd to like Charlotte Flair again, I think that tagging her with Bliss was the right move. You know, just with her, even with her entrance coming out at SummerSlam, the crowd was behind her. You know, they were cheering her, they weren't booing her because they actually, I think they're seeing more of a human side of Flair that people really don't get to see as much. We always see like the Queen, you know, but so it's kind of hard to see the fun person that might be behind her. And I think it's a good move for her character. As far as Raquel and Roxanne go, I love both of them. Saw both of them come up from NXT. Love the spots that they're in, especially with Roxanne, who has gotten incredibly lucky, you know, with Liv Morgan getting injured and with her getting the spot on a big PLE like this. It's very good for her. I thought the match was pretty solid. I wasn't really worried about Charlotte turning on Bliss. I think they were trying to build us up for that, but I never really felt that worry. Charlotte is more concerned about getting titles than betraying friends. So I thought it was the right move to put the belts on them. It's going to be interesting to see what the women's tag team division is going to be now that Charlotte and Bliss are tag team champions. And I think we'll kind of have a like will they work together nice or will they possibly turn on each other at some point? It's going to be like an interesting dynamic that they'll have in their story with this tag team. So I thought the match was pretty good. What you think?
I love this storyline between Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss. This kind of like, are they friends? Are they not? Yesterday was the whole thing of they said the F word, they said friends. I love their dynamic. I think it really gives both of them something to do as they've returned back to the WWE and being such huge names. They didn't really have much to do because the women's division is busy with other storylines. So I love putting them together. I love them being a tag team champions. I love that they won. It's just fun. Their dynamic bouncing off of each other. It's just kind of fun. And Charlotte needed somebody to really humanize her a little bit and make her less of the queen figure and more just like a regular person. Because you're right, she was getting booed out the building. I mean, to the point when she first came back, it was almost like, I don't know if you want to stick around because it wasn't really working out well for her. But changing the dynamic and humbling her character a little bit, but also keeping him on the rise with tag team championships with Alexa Bliss. I think it was a great idea. And I think it was the perfect time to take the belt off of the Judgment Day. I thought that was a nice little run with Raquel and Roxanne. They'll have more storylines to go through, but I think it was time to take the belts off of them and kind of put them into a new face and a new team. So I was excited about that, man. I was really excited about that match, and I think it was fun. It was definitely one of my more highlighted matches of the night. But let's get on to the next one. The next one is going to be Sami Zayn and Karrion Cross. What's your opinion of that one?
Oh man, um, Karrion Cross can't catch a break. You know, I tell you, like I thought the match was good, but I felt the same way that I felt when we reviewed Night of Champions when they fought at that PLE. Um, People want Cross to succeed, man. You know, you see it, you see it in the crowd, you see it in their reaction when he comes out. He had another great entrance this time around at the PLE, and people were for him. They weren't booing him, you know, they were cheering him, and everybody loves Sami Zayn. You know, so of course he's going to get cheered when he comes out. I love Sami Zayn, but for me, it gets to the point storyline wise where what else are you going to do with him if he continues to lose? I never thought that Sammy would go to dark side. When Scarlett handed him that pipe, I knew that he wouldn't pull the trigger on that. So it's an interesting story, but nothing that had me like, oh man, was Sammy really going to turn? I never thought that he was going to. So I thought the best thing that they could have done with this was to just give Cross the victory. Like he already lost that Night of Champions, and we're running it back again. You would think that this would be his time to not only come out and be cheered by the crowd, but actually win and gain even more support. But that's clearly not where they're going to be going with his character. Where they're going with him, I honestly don't know. I hope that he's done losing now at this point, but based on what they've given us, who knows what will happen with him. He did have a new book that just came out, so hope he's very successful with that. But as far as Sammy goes, Sammy's still here. He won with the haluva kick after not hitting Cross with the pipe, and got the 1, 2, 3. And now Sammy will go off to try to win the world championship again, which good for him. I hope he gets that at some point. As far as Cross goes, all I can say is good luck, man. Hang in there. What you think?
So, this is probably my least favorite match, to be honest. I'm not a huge Karrion Cross fan. I like what they're doing sometimes with his storylines, but this one was kind of a moot point for me. We kind of knew how it was going to go. Like you mentioned, Sammy wasn't going to the dark side. So it didn't matter if Scarlett handed him anything. It's really, excuse me, it's really not his personality to do that. So it was kind of whatever for me. I don't have a lot of words. I'm happy Sammy won because I'm just not a huge Karrion Cross fan. Nothing has made me want to like jump in and enjoy this storyline so much. So, I'm just kind of happy it's done and they can move those two characters on to different storylines and do something else. Because to be honest, it didn't really captivate me at all. So, yeah, let's move on to the next match, which was a really good one. We've got the WWE Women's Championship with Tiffany Stratton, the champion versus Jade Cargill, the incumbent.
I thought that this match was pretty good as well. Good, but I felt like it was also short. I felt like it kind of ended abruptly. Um, I love the fit that Jade Cargill had on when she came out. She was with representing her Jamaican heritage, and she looked absolutely beautiful. I really love that. Again, the match was nice. We had Jade deliver her finisher to Tiffany, but got when she went for the pin, legs too close to the ropes, so that ended up saving her. And Tiffany got her prettiest moonsault ever in for the 1, 2, 3. Um, the match again, it was good, but there were a couple spots where I was like, oh, you guys might have been able to do that a little better. The one spot I just mentioned with Tiffany getting her foot on the ropes, I felt like Jade was kind of dragging her along after she had done that move just to make sure her feet could actually hit the rope. So I mean, I feel like that could have been done better, but at the same time, I honestly feel like this was the time to kind of pull the trigger on Jade Cargill and give her that win, give her that big spot. She just won Queen of the Ring. She's finally out on her own now, and I thought this might have been a good time to actually give her the title and see what she could do with it. Clearly, WWE has other plans. They may not think that she's completely ready to have that spot, but maybe this was just the first match in a number of matches that she'll end up having with Tiffany to where she might actually get the belt. But I thought it was a pretty good match. But I wanted her to win, and I thought it was a little too short. What you think?
So I completely agree with you. I thought it was a bit of a short match, but I really, really wanted Jade Cargill to win. I was hoping that she would come out of it, with the dub. I think it was a fun little storyline that we're pushing Jade Cargill up. We need to give her more wins, of course. Like you said, this could be just on a road to a bigger plan that they're telling with Jade Cargill. I thought she's starting to show better in ring work. Definitely, there was that moment that you had mentioned that if you kind of look at it back, she puts Tiffany's foot on the rope. It's pretty obvious that she places it up there. So a little bit, I wouldn't call it a botch, but it wasn't a perfect execution of that spot. But I thought they had a
Right.
fun match. I liked their back and forth. I think Jade Cargill's getting way more comfortable with her in-ring work, and of course, Tiffany Stratton at 24 years old is just a phenom. Her in-ring work is immaculate. She's just really comfortable in the ring, and I love that she can help Jade feel more comfortable with that. There was a couple of here's and there's, and I thought the match went by, significantly fast, but I thought it was a fun pace match. I just hope that WWE has bigger plans for Jade Cargill in the future, and I'm kind of curious to see what they're going to do with the rest of Tiffany Stratton's kind of tour of champion. What other big matches do they have planned, or who else do they have waiting in the wings that's really going to challenge the champion to push her that much forward and to push the storyline that much forward? So, the next match had to be one of my favorites, and that was Randy Orton and Jelly Roll versus Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul. Kick us off with your thoughts on that one.
It's funny you say that because I mean, if I'm being honest, this is probably my least favorite match on the PLE. No, like nothing against Jelly Roll. I do appreciate when a celebrity is willing to come into the world of WWE and not just dip their toe in, but actually want to be a part of the show, actually want to give to the WWE fans and the WWE universe. So shout out to Jelly Roll for coming through and putting in the work that he did on the PLE. Randy Orton. Randy Orton's Randy Orton. He is a living legend, still with us now, still looks amazing, still doing great things in the ring. Uh, Drew McIntyre, I will always be a supporter of him. I feel like he should be placed a little higher on the card than what he currently is right now. But you got to take what you can get. But always loved his performances. Um, Logan Paul, he's Logan Paul. Like we've said it so many times on this channel. He's very athletic, good for him. And I will say, like, the biggest spot of the night, what actually entertained me was his frog splash from the top rope on the Jelly Roll through the announce table. That was insane. And again, shout out to Jelly Roll for taking that. He took the full brunt of that right through the table. So that was a tremendous spot for me, probably the best spot on in the match. What I was very shocked by was Logan and McIntyre not only winning, but Logan getting the pin on Jelly Roll. I was very shocked by that, and I think you could tell the whole crowd was shocked by that. After Logan had got the pin on Jelly, it's like the life was sucked out of the arena. Like, none of the crowd was making noise. They were completely, totally upset. They did not like that outcome. And honestly, I get it. I understand. In scenarios like this, you're always wanting to see the celebrity teaming with one of the best wrestlers that they have in the company. You always want to see them come out on top. So I was shocked by that, and it kind of left me a little. Yeah, I was like, oh well, that kind of sucks. I didn't think we were going to get this outcome. Good shock value, sure, and like again, like a tremendous spot, but a little disappointed by the ending. But I thought the match was okay. What you think?
I loved it, man. I had a lot of fun with Jelly Roll being there. Not always into when the celebrities come in and get into wrestling matches, but you can clearly tell one, he lost a couple lbs, and I'm happy for him on that. But you could tell he actually went and trained, and after the whole PLE, Triple H had given him some flowers for moving down to Florida for a little while, being at the Performance Center and really practicing day in and day out to get prepared for this match to do the moves that he did. So I really was proud of seeing Jelly Roll do those because he didn't really just come in and fake it. He wasn't the kind of Travis Scott of it all, where Travis Scott was just kind of butt in the ring. Where Jelly Roll was actually doing some moves and taking some bumps and having some fun. So I enjoyed that. Of course, like you said, Randy Orton is Randy Orton. That's the legend killer. He's fun to have there. He had a handicap match for a good amount of time because Jelly Roll was out, taken out from that humongous crossbody frog splash that Logan Paul served a jelly roll on the announce table. I thought that was a really dope spot. I love when they have the multiple camera angles so you can see kind of what Logan was seeing. And it was one hell of a jump. And shout out to Jelly Roll for taking that bump, man. That was a huge bump. But I thought it was fun. I thought that was the biggest thing was it was just kind of a fun match to kind of have a celebrity who's, pretty popular come in and just kind of hang out with the boys and have a fun match. I think that Logan Paul is an incredible athlete, but you're right. The fans didn't really care that he won. They were more sad that he pinned Jelly Roll. I don't think Logan Paul yet has got the fanfare that he will someday in the future. It's just not there yet. So that kind of makes the match okay when it has to do with Logan Paul. But I mean, his athleticism and what he added to the match was really cool. And I mean, some of the bumps Jelly Roll took from Drew McIntyre, claymores and all, were pretty dope. So I had fun with the match. I thought it was one of my favorites. It's nothing really to write home about, but it was just entertainment value. I had a lot of fun with that. But let's move on to the biggest match of the night and the most anticipated match of the night, and probably as you'll talk about some of the craziest outcome of the night, and that is the heavyweight championship match with the champion Gunther taking on CM Punk for the belt. Let's kick it off. What's your thoughts? What do you think of this big match?
Before we start there, one more shout out before I forget. Good job to Jelly Roll for losing 230 pounds for his match. And I believe he was at 299 pounds, which was a pound below the goal that he had. So congratulations to him for that. That's very impressive. As far as the match between Gunther and CM Punk for the World Heavyweight Championship, it was an incredible match. Uh, I've said many times, Gunther to me is the best in-ring performer that we've had this year. He continues to be a dominant force, a great seller, and a great worker. Always shout out to Gunther. Punk was locked in for this match, and you could tell just by his mannerisms, just by his form in the ring, just the gear that he had on, looked like it had similar SummerSlam logo colors to it. Just his form, his stance in the ring when he's sitting down waiting for Gunther, you could just tell in his eyes he's completely locked in. And boy, Gunther put him through the ringer. I can't tell you how many chops this man took from Gunther, but he took a lot. It got to a point where his chest was bleeding. Punk got in some great offense, but it looked like each time he was starting to fire up, Gunther would just put him right back down, whether it be with a chop, a body slam. Just he was putting Punk through it, and it really made you think like, is Punk just is he gonna do it? Can he do it? uh and both men are great sellers. They really have a passion and a great work ethic, and you can tell it by every movement and everything that they did in this match. It was awesome. uh I love how Punk came back, with his clotheslines, his elbow, and he finally fired up and got to the point where he was able to kick out of three power bombs, I believe, and got one GTS on Gunther, which I'm not sure if that's what broke his nose, but Gunther's nose was definitely broken. I saw today that he has to undergo nose surgery after his match with Punk, but he ate two GTSs from CM Punk, and the unthinkable happened, and Punk got the 1, 2, 3 on Gunther, and man, let me tell you, I was so happy and so overjoyed to see this man after being away from so long in the company, never thinking that he was ever going to come back to wrestling, let alone the WWE. And after 12 years without a championship in that company, he finally got the World Heavyweight Championship in his hands. And you can see the emotion in this man's eyes of how happy he is, and just he is just soaking in the moment. And so am I, and so is everybody else that's a Punk fan. And then we hear the horrible, terrible, ridiculous music of Colby Lopez, also known as Seth freaking Rollins. Uh, he pulled a ruse of the century, is what they're calling it. He lied to everybody. He got both of us good. We thought this man was injured. We thought that he was going to be out for a very long time. For all we know, he might have still been injured. It just might not have been as serious as what they made it to be. But Seth Rollins cashed in his money in the bank on CM Punk, ladies and gentlemen. It was a fake out. He took off his brace, ran down to the ring, beat CM Punk with the briefcase, and stomped on him for the 1, 2, 3. And now the greatest hater in all of wrestling is World Heavyweight Champion after Punk was champion for 5 minutes. I don't like Kobe Lopez. That's all I have to say. What do you think, King?
So let me just take it from the beginning, man. Um, Gunther coming out, always Gunther gives you that, heavyweight champion, boss level entrance. I love that. He always has that serious face that, he's a big monster Austrian, and I love every bit of that. Um, I was excited this time for CM Punk to come out. He's got his fantastic four first steps gear on. And I love that he looks at the camera and says it's clobbering time. I love the whole event. Two of our favorite things mashed into one, Marvel and WWE. It was a great moment. I was rooting for CM Punk more than I ever have been. Over the time, I've really come around to loving me some CM Punk, and was excited for this match. He was taking some huge chops, knocking over and some big bumps. And I mean, it was a brutal fight, between him and Gunther. And he was rallying, he was coming back, and Gunther was then back on, had to be on the defense, and then boom, one GTS and a broken nose, and Gunther is blindsided and bloody faced. And we've never seen Gunther on his heels like that. I love that part of the storytelling, that we've never seen Gunther on his heels and not being able to dominate his opponent while CM Punk is rallying around and getting that energy from the crowd and is starting to beat the hell out of Gunther, hits him with that last GTS and gets the dub, man. I was with you, man. I had texted you and I was like, hell yeah. I was actually legitimately really excited that CM Punk had finally hit this goal that he had been waiting for, especially on the return back to the company and the tumultuous relationship that was the company in the past. And to have him back and to hold one of the top prizes was amazing. And you're right. You can see the emotion on Punk's face of finally getting there and waiting all those years, and the pride. I was extremely happy for him. I know you were. And then something magical in the world happens, and Seth freaking Rollins music hits, and he comes out with his band of gangsters, and he's in his crutches. And I'm thinking, man, he's just coming out to be like, yeah, I still got this briefcase, and keep you're on notice, buddy, that I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
be coming for you. Turns
Mm-hmm.
around, does the walk away, and then gives us the bamboozle of the century, drops those crutches, takes off that brace, runs down to the ring, and hits CM Punk with that briefcase. He actually botched one of those hits, and it looked kind of weird because he kind of just placed it on his back instead of hitting him. But here nor there, he hits him a few times, and CM Punk's down on all fours. He goes for the stomp and the 1, 2, 3, and CM Punk's short-lived World Heavyweight Championship is over. And now Seth Rollins has the championship back in his hand with his group of gangsters and the Oracle. And Seth freaking Rollins is back on top. Now, I didn't expect this. Me and you discussed this when I thought this could have happened before Seth got injured. It was like all but gonna happen before Seth got injured, but he really bamboozled me too. I thought he was legitimately injured in this one, and then to pull the wool over our eyes was a great caper, man. It was great. It's great storytelling. Him and CM Punk are gonna be locked in this forever grudge match, and it's kind of like Batman and the Joker. Of course, Seth Rollins being the Joker. I'm loving it, man. I'm loving. I can't wait to see what happens on Monday and what's next. It was a great ending to a show that was like, whoa, I didn't expect that to happen. So why don't we just go with our final thoughts? I'm going to give my final thoughts, and then Jay's going to give his final thoughts, and he's going to close out the show for us today. So, I mean, for me, I thought night one was a really fun PLE. I think I'd give it an 8 out of 10. There was some fun spots, some fun matches. We got to see some cool stuff. The crowd seemed pretty lit, and the ending was completely unexpected for me. So I would say I really enjoyed night one, and looking forward to night two. So, what are your final thoughts on night one of SummerSlam, Jay?
I thought night one of SummerSlam was fun and entertaining as well. I would probably rate it I'd probably give it a 7.5 out of 10. Again, great opening match for me, the most exciting match. The right team went over. The tag team match was also good. I think it was the right move for them to give us new women's tag team champions. The match with Sammy and Cross, it was okay. Match with Jelly Roll, Randy, and McIntyre and Logan, also okay. I thought that it was the wrong move to not give Jade Cargill the title, and the main event again incredible, with a shocking ending that no one saw coming. 10 years ago, Colby Lopez gave us the heist of the century, and now 10 years later, he's given us the ruse of the century. He's cost Punk multiple times when it comes to the World Heavyweight Championship, and now he's actually taken the World Heavyweight Championship from Punk. So now I hope that Kobe Lopez is happy, and I can't wait for everything to get taken away from him. But all in all, it's great storytelling, and we are along for the ride, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for the support and the love. As always, keep liking, sharing, commenting, talk with us. We love to talk back. And as always, till next time, stay nerdy, my friends.